Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. So before we begin, I wanted to leave this question on your screens for a couple of seconds so that you can start thinking about it. So the unprecedented challenges that we are currently facing and experiencing globally call for a rethinking of leadership. So how do you think that we can change the way that leadership is understood and approached within the development sector? So please add any thoughts, comments and questions in the chat function below your screen so that we can gain an insight into your perspective. So just want to quickly introduce who I am. So my name is Daisy James. I am the course advisor here in Manchester. So my role is basically to support you during the early stages of your decision making and application journey. So one of the things that I do with prospective students like yourself is conduct individual Zoom consultations. So this is a way for me to get to know and understand your background, motivations, and can really offer an insight as to whether or not I feel that this course is the right fit for you. So one of the things I would really encourage, as we are getting closer to the early application discount deadline and our scholarship deadline of the 10th of December, is get in touch with me to book in an individual Zoom consultation so that I can really kind of offer that support and guidance before you go on to submit an application for this degree programme, the Master of Leadership for Development. So I'm joined today by Natalie Cunningham, who is our co-course director here in Manchester too. So me and Natalie are going to work as a little bit of a tag team today. So we're going to provide you with an insight into the course aims and then kind of cover your application. So how you can bring your profile to life and really stand out in this admissions process. So Natalie, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you and talk through this slide, if that's okay.
Thank you so much, Daisy, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. So what does the leadership look like within the development sector? And I need to just stress that this program has been designed, and this master has been designed specifically to focus on the challenges that are in the development sector. There are many, many leadership programs for generic leadership. So, but the challenges in the development sector are different in terms of there are multiple stakeholders, government, non-profit, communities, and how do you manage these multiple stakeholders? So we need to look at it and what does leadership mean in the sector? And why do we need leaders? And what are the leaders that we need? The challenges are very different because you have to be able to influence people who you don't have a direct relationship with often, such as government policies, etc. So we need to rethink leadership. We cannot just take what has been done in the corporate sector and transfer it across to the development sector. So the uniqueness of this program is how it focuses on those very, very specific challenges. And it's very exciting because we're also looking at it in terms of the global aspect of development. What does it mean? You know, very often organizations have a head office in the UK, offices everywhere else in the world. Where does the localization happen versus the nationalized versus the global? So a lot of unique challenges. There's the next slide. So when you come on this program, what we really want to look at is critically analyze the complexities of institutional structures and power relationships. We'll explore a lot about what's the history of development. The first module focuses on contemporary development. And in that contemporary development module, we are looking at what is the history? What is the legacy? Where does the power really lie? What do you as a leader have to influence? Do you influence an individual? Do you influence an organization? How do you develop those relationships? So the contemporary development issue is understanding what is happening in development. We're going to network with other development professionals. We've already got a lot of interviews. We've interviewed development specialists around the world. And in some of the modules, we'll be sharing these live videos of people who've made a huge difference in the sector. But it's not just what we're going to share, it's also the caliber of people that are on our program. We are getting a tremendous quality of applicant, and some of the applicants that have been accepted so far are diverse, and the experience is great. So we have people from Japan, somebody from India, somebody from Portugal. We have quite a few applicants from Africa, and that diversity, as we screen each applicant and ensure that they can contribute to your own learning, is going to be really a valuable component. We also will be using a lot of real life scenarios. We're using global case studies. As you know, it's a joint partnership between the University of Melbourne and the University of Manchester. And it comes out of the University of Manchester's Global Development Institute. And at our Global Development Institute, we have people doing research in many, many aspects of development across the world. And Melbourne has a very strong focus on developmental studies. So we have real case studies that we can share with you. And our ultimate aim is to develop critical reasoning and analytical expertise so that you can experience complex development situations. So we're really keen to hear what challenges you're experiencing, what is motivating you to come here. And those are some of the discussions that Daisy's been having, but also you can please post questions on the chat if there's something that you want to know. Will you cover that? Will you be looking at that in the program? This is an opportunity to also ask questions.
Thank you, Natalie. So we have set entry requirements. So in order to be considered by our selection committee, you must kind of meet the following entry requirements and criteria that you can see on your screen here. So you must have an honours degree in a cognitive discipline or equivalent. So that could be, for example, within social sciences, including anthropology, sociology, public policy, and population and global health, to name a few. With at least 2 years of documented relevant professional work experience. Another option is an undergraduate degree in a cognitive discipline or equivalent with a weighted average mark of at least 70% or equivalent. For example, here in the UK, there's a different grading systems, so that would equate to a 2-1 for a kind of a UK discipline. And then finally, you can have at least 2 years of documented relevant professional work experience or a minimum of 8 years documented relevant work experience. If you are entering this program through this particular route, you will be registered for the master's certificate under a probation arrangement with the university. So once we kind of receive an application from you, this doesn't necessarily mean that you would be guaranteed a place. So what would happen is the selection committee would consider a few things. So prior academic performance, relevance of previous studies to the degree, so the Masters of Leadership for Development, and professional work experience. So they will consider and look at your profile holistically and then consider your kind of application and candidacy for this particular degree programme. So as this is a joint degree, you'll be taken to Melbourne's online application form. So the admissions process will be managed by our lovely team on the other side of the world. So in order for you to kind of submit an application in full, we need several things from you. So you have the course code in front of you on your screens, and I'm more than happy to share this with you after today's session. We will need evidence of meeting the English language requirements as determined by the University of Manchester and the University of Melbourne. Now you can find further information on English language requirements on our website, but please do get in touch with me if you need kind of further guidance on that aspect.
Hello.
We need a detailed, oh, hi Vicky.
Hello. Sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Vicky. We have started. I'm just going through the application form requirements.
So terribly sorry, everyone. I have had absolute technical problems. I had IT trying to get to my laptop today.
Don't worry, Vicky. I'm just going to walk through the application form requirements, and then we can catch up if that's okay.
Yep.
Brilliant. So where was I? So we need a detailed CV from you. So that will detail and document all of the work experience that you've had to date, along with all of the kind of academic qualities that you will bring to the table. So we need detailed degree transcripts as well for all of the courses that you've completed or attempted. And please do include an explanation of the grading system used as well. So there's various kind of international cohorts coming through and students that I'm having conversations with, all of whom are kind of coming from different areas of the world, and therefore that means they're working at different grading systems. So please do provide us with an explanation of the grading system that you're using. That will make it easier for our admissions team to review your application in full. Then we need proof of citizenship and permanent residency. And then finally, we need a personal statement from you. So this really kind of highlights your personal motivations for wanting to pursue this course in terms of future career ambitions and aspirations. We also would like you to include the nature of your leadership and managerial experience to date, and kind of the relevance of prior qualifications in relation to this degree programme. So as I said at the beginning, my role is to really kind of help you and support you in these early stages of your application and decision-making journey. So please do get in touch with me. I can see a number of people on today's call already have got in touch with me, and I've had conversations via Zoom, so hi. But please do get in touch with me and kind of book in a consultation so that I can review your personal statement before you submit it to our selection committee, or just walk you through these entry requirements and kind of application form requirements in more detail. So Natalie, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk through the Sustainable Development Goals Scholarship, if that's okay.
Yes, that's great. Thank you. So we have a scholarship, and the scholarship is worth 1/3 of the tuition fees. And you need to submit your scholarship application before Friday, the 11th of December. Originally, it was the 30th of November, but with changes in the world and COVID, we've extended it to the 11th of December. The details are there, continuing education at Uni Melbourne. You're not going to submit it orally. You're going to do a presentation of 6 pages or slides, and you can put diagrams, photographs, etc. And I'm going to go through the criteria in a moment and how we'll evaluate it, but your presentation must demonstrate a commitment to delivery against one of the 17 sustainable development goals. So you need to show that in your presentation. So we're just looking at the next slide will show us the criteria upon which we're going to evaluate. So we're looking at 3 things that we want to see. We want knowledge. We want a solid academic background and academic accomplishments, because this is an academic program. It is at 2 institutions that have high academic standards, and we need to know that you're going to be able to manage that. And particularly for the scholarship, we want to reward people who have a solid academic background. But we also want to look at your experience, and we want that experience to be significant and how you can transfer it. So how would you use this in the Masters of Leadership for Development? And we particularly want to look at leadership and development. So those are the 2 components. What have you got or done that is relevant? So illustrate areas where you have led and you've influenced others, and illustrates the impact and your role in the development space. So those are 2 components. And then the third component is personal motivation. And we believe this is a key component in working in development, that people often want to make a significant difference in the world. And we are looking at why you. So when we compare people, if we've got people with similar knowledge and similar experience, we're really wanting to see the personal motivation. What difference do you want to make? What are you driven to make? What area do you want to make a difference? So we actually are asking you to bring some of yourself into the space. Interestingly, these three components, knowledge, experience, and motivation, are components of leadership. Knowledge is, what do I know? Experience, what do I do? And motivation is, how am I? Who am I? What are my values? How do I be in the world? So we want to see all three components in leadership.
Thank you, Natalie. So my question to all of the students on today's call is, are you ready to apply? If so, I'm here to help you. So again, my role is to really support you, especially we are kind of getting really close now to the early application discount deadline and the scholarship application deadline. So please do get in touch with me over the next couple of days. My email address is on your screen in front of you. I can really kind of help you in the early stages so you feel confident and ready within your application form. Just want to again reiterate the early application discount deadline of the 11th of December. To be eligible for a 10% tuition fee reduction, you need to apply or submit a completed application on or before this deadline. So again, please do get in touch with me if you would like to know more. Now, Vicky, I am conscious we had a few slides for you, so I'm just going to stop sharing, and I'm just going to pull your slides up. Is that okay if you talk through them? Are you happy to do that?
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
And just while Daisy brings up the slide, Vicky is from the University of Melbourne, and she's the course director at Melbourne. So the role that I'm playing, I'm co-director at Manchester. Vicky is director at Melbourne University.
I'm going to try, everyone, to put my audio on. I apologize. The technical team have been...
Oh, there we go. Hey, Vicky, I think you might be muted. If you want to unmute yourself, that would be great.
Okay.
Fantastic. Hi, Vicky.
I'm going to have a... All right.
I've pulled your slides up, so over to you. You kind of lead it.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so sorry for being tardy in arriving. One of the things that I wanted just to bring up is to give you a sense of the direction and the thinking and approach that we've got around leadership. I don't know if you are from a background in development or you have an interest towards development, and this is a very open space that comes from multiple areas of experience. But if it is, you know, a moment, a specific moment now for us to think in terms of what kind of leadership do we need, it actually also compels us to be reflexive. There's been a lot of criticisms in the past about, are we representing, trying to recreate some kind of, you know, north-south relationship where we think that the answers are coming from the north to the south. If development is actually a relational thing, it's a relationship, and it requires us to be co-creators of the directions that we're going. We have to rethink the nature of development leadership and not just what development is about. And by the way, you can hear my puppy whinging. She's whinging because we've got wind in Melbourne, quite severe, and she's not very happy with it, so please forgive her. She's 6 months old and very naughty. I put this up because I wanted to share that idea of relationality, and for us to be rethinking the nature of not only development, but what that would mean for how we approach leadership in development. Next slide, Daisy. In that sense, I wanted to bring this up because it was something part of my project with a colleague in Indonesia. We were looking at whether Western education, in this case receiving Australian awards grants, enabled or facilitated women's leadership aspirations. And many of the women had extensive experience in leadership before their study, but they were also speaking with a particular motivation towards enhancing their leadership, and it was one of the reasons why they took on a master's or PhD program. One of the participants made this point, and what's the point of being a leader when our kids don't benefit from that? And it generated an enormously lively discussion amongst 40 people at the workshop in Surabaya. And what they were saying was the development space is really, leadership is a tool, it's not an end in itself. And it's that pursuit of meaningful, sustainable, inclusive transformation, well, absolutely equity. And there's a lot of calls, for example, in development right now, we localize diversity, being inclusive. Well, what does that look like? I mean, are we taking, these as some kind of meaningful endeavors to change the nature of the relationship, or do we pay lip service to them? So anyway, that was the starting point of it.
Thanks so much, Vicky. I really appreciate your insight there, and I'm sure the students on today's call will as well. I've seen a question come through about whether potential students can speak to an academic if they're not
Absolutely.
sure about their experience, and absolutely, to reiterate what Vicky just said. I think in our last webinar, we invited students to connect with you guys and myself on LinkedIn. So please do go ahead and do that. Can
I share my email address? I'm happy for everyone to have my email address as well.
Of course, Vicky, I can share that with our students. That's absolutely fine.
Yes, yeah, go for it.
Brilliant. And Natalie and Vicky, thank you so much for today's session. The joys of working from home, with all the internet connections and problems, but thank you for joining. I just wanted to reiterate that our team, both admissions and the academic team, are fantastic. And with this being a new course within joint partnership with the University of Melbourne, we want it to be successful, and we want you as potential students to be successful as well. So in the very early stages of your decision-making journey, get in touch with me, and we can hopefully enroll you onto the course and enable you to be a successful leader within the development sector. Natalie and Vicky, thanks again for your time today. This session is recorded, so I will share with you the recording so you can listen back in your own time. I can see a question has come through which Natalie has kind of responded to, so thank you so much for that. So just to reiterate as well, the application discount deadline is the 11th of December. So time is ticking, so please do kind of drop me an email in the next couple of days and we can walk through the application process in a little detail. Vicky, Natalie, is there anything you would like to add before we wrap up today?
No, just to say we're looking so forward to your applications and to engagement with you, and we really are very, very excited about this program. So please engage with us.
Absolutely. And if you have any queries, please just contact us. You know, it's not some kind of hierarchical ordering of time of when to question. Send us a line, go via Daisy if you want to email directly. Happy to discuss any part of your interest, or if you have any questions about your criteria.
Thank you so much, both. And Vicky, I hope that wind stops for your lovely puppy.
Oh,
thank you.
yes. I'm going to get a new puppy. No.
Thank you everyone for joining, and we all look forward to hopefully receiving an application from you very, very soon. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.